Update. Am I the a-hole for divorcing during my husband's mental health crisis? Original post. Me, 38 female, and husband, 38 male, married since 2009, and we have a preteen daughter. Last 3 years have been really tough on us because of my husband's bad working conditions that started to affect his mental health. I noticed signs of burnout and depression and brought up these concerns regularly to him. He was very dismissive and refused to see his situation and refused therapy. He started becoming distant and often isolated himself and was regularly butting heads with our daughter. He eventually told me that he had met a woman at work. Their relationship was not, according to him, physical, but he was in love with her and felt that she was his soulmate and best friend. He said he was very sorry and that he could not decide which woman he would ultimately be happiest with. He spoke out about this at home whilst I was having the toughest time of my life, and I cried alone over my dreams and plans, everything we had together. He also told me that in order to clear his head, he would need to leave the house and spend some time on his own. That coworker had offered him her spare room, and he was going to take it. I asked for his help organizing the rest of the school year as I was commuting, and I promised him that as soon as the school year was over, I would look for an apartment closer to my work, and me and our daughter will move out, and he can have the house to himself for his healing. I found an apartment almost immediately, and we moved. He visited us one weekend a month and brought his chaos with him every time. The new home had become a safe haven that we cherished, and he took it over as soon as he appeared, and it felt like I wasn't breathing until he finally left. After 6 months of living like this, I decided I had given things enough time to mend, and they had not. I was still hurt and bitter, and he was still cagey about what was going on and what his ultimate decision really was. So I told him I was done living like this and that I wanted a divorce. He absolutely lost his mind and left, and drove back to our old house in the middle of the night just to get away from me. A week later, he told me the coworker is pregnant, and he was angry that I didn't want to even try to fix our marriage. Since then, he has gotten increasingly more hostile and accusatory in his communication with me. He blames me for breaking up the marriage and abandoning him during his crisis. He says he was not himself and has no idea why he did the things he did, but that I was the one who left. He claims I was no help when he needed me and that I had clearly mentally abandoned our relationship long before, more than 3 years prior. He tells me I'm cold and calculating and clearly not the person he thought I was. I understand that he is not well and he finally did go to therapy. I explained a lot of his actions with that in mind at first. So am I the a-hole he claims I have become, taking his daughter away and leaving? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Are you kidding me? The only mistake you made was letting him stay at your apartment every weekend, not the a-hole. What a prick he is. Yes, the husband is making excuses for his bad behavior. He wanted his cake and eat it too. OP, you and your daughter deserve better. You need to model for your daughter how to set boundaries in relationships. There's a big difference between I'm having a hard time and need space before we can work on us together, and I'm having an affair which ended up in a pregnancy. But you're a jerk for not sticking around and helping me raise the product of my betrayal and play housewife so I can continue to screw around with your head? He wasn't thinking about you or your daughter while he was sleeping with other women, and you shouldn't give him the courtesy of occupying another moment of your time or brain's bandwidth. Focus on you and your daughter, and let the grown man deal with the consequences of his own behavior. He made his proverbial bed. You attempted to help him multiple times, and multiple times he shut you out. Instead of seeking help or getting a new job, your soon-to-be ex decided the correct path was an emotional affair that led to a physical affair. There is absolutely no reason to feel guilty about divorcing this guy. Not the a-hole. Stop indulging him. Coordinate his visitation with your daughter through an app. Do not discuss anything else. Keep all communication written. Stop second-guessing yourself. You have nothing to feel guilty about. Thank you for your answer. I've actually noticed that keeping all our communication in writing has helped me deal with all of this better. I feel like my thoughts stay more structured, and I can choose to respond or not respond depending if I feel too insulted or triggered in the moment. Helps me keep civil. I personally feel like I really tried my best to help him, and I was truly devoted and very much still in love. But he sees it very differently, and it's hard for me to reconcile between those two completely different stories. That guy moved in with his affair partner, impregnated her, and now complains that you are breaking up your marriage? He is delusional. Please remind him his actions started this whole ball rolling. And if he claims his mental health made him, just quote Pete Davidson to him. Being mentally ill is not an excuse to act like a jackass. It may be a reason, but it's not an excuse. He is still responsible for his own actions, especially since he refused all help in dealing with his issues. Lol, so you are supposed to put up with him fooling around on you because it's good for his mental health? Is he actually a cartoon villain? Because that crap is unhinged. Now for the update. I wanted to write an update since my post seemed to raise some questions, and also to thank you for your engagement on the post. It has meant a lot to me. You have given me good advice, some really good things to think about, and some tough love and criticism I surely needed. Thank you so much. The divorce is in process, and I have not seen him in person for some 4 months at this point. He mostly keeps radio silence until it seems he has to unload some hurt on me. I've kept my contact to him to a minimum, only ever messaging him in things regarding our daughter or requesting him to react to official paperwork or to his electricity bills that I've transferred to him. Due to the circumstances in which we started this separation originally, I paid most of his living expenses, mainly since I have a steady job and get paid double his salary. He is still very much incapacitated by his mental health issues, and I wanted to alleviate some of the practical matters for him. Not that we are pulling everything apart, he has been, maybe purposefully, making this into a very slow and frustrating process. Currently, I still pay for his electricity, and he reimburses those bills for me at the end of each month. But sometimes he needs encouraging. Usually this leads to him messaging me all day, usually complains in how I'm now raising our daughter, now that I have made him obsolete, his words. Telling me to get a new dad to help me with a job as soon as possible. He seems to try very hard to push my buttons by saying things like, "It must be very hard for you to send your daughter to someone who you loathe and hate so much." And if I make the mistake of losing my temper, even for one curse word, he will turn immediately and tells me to calm down, stop spitting acid, and maybe we should continue our discussion when I'm not so wound up. I have mainly chosen to not engage in these conversations if when they start going off the rails. I have all of his outbursts in writing. I'm also currently under the impression that a coworker is not interested in a relationship with him anymore. And all of those who ask, yes, the baby is his by his own admission. He still has not told our daughter about any of it, and I have chosen to give him an ultimatum on the matter. I will bring it up one more time when we have our official meeting with our child welfare officer next month, which is the official route where we live. And if he still refuses, I will take it upon myself to tell our daughter the truth. So many of you have encouraged me to do this for her sake and for the sake of our relationship, and I thank you for sharing your experiences with me. I have also contacted her school therapist and the curator and informed them of the issues she's facing now and the ones still to come. I'm hoping they will offer her some scheduled help, since I know she is shy in telling me everything. She's the most important thing in my life, and as sorry as I am for having her to go through this essentially because of my choices, I refuse to take all the blame now, and I'm ready to shift it where it belongs. Personally, I'm a much happier person these days. I feel bursts of gratefulness and true happiness these days, just by watching her eat her dinner and talk to me about her day at the dinner table in our clean and peaceful home. Even my houseplants are thriving, as silly as it sounds. I have finally opened up about all of this to some of my friends and my siblings, and they have all been super supportive. And my siblings were clearly shocked, but both did bring up that they are somehow not surprised it all went this way. They seem to have seen things a bit more clearly from afar, just like this community did. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I feel like my daughter and I are going to be just fine in the end. Stop paying the electricity bill. Stop being sympathetic or empathetic with him. Do not engage. You need to do this for yourself. You owe that to yourself. My friends have also told me to just drop the electricity contract for my plan and have him figure it out. Logically, I know it takes one call for him to make a new contract. He gives me excuses I know are false, but since I also know how passive his mental health issues have made him and how insurmountable small things can become, I find it so difficult to do this and go back on my word. There is also the fear how making our current bad relationship even worse will inevitably reflect on our daughter and getting through all the legalities. I can't wait until it's all done and dusted. You haven't set boundaries before, nor are you setting them now. You are being unfair to yourself. He will drag you down to his own personal hell. Some self-preservation is required here. If you can't get it for yourself, then do it for your daughter. If marital vows meant nothing to him, you can go back on your words. Doesn't appear that he is going therapy. You need to distance yourself from this dumpster fire so that you don't get burned. I am glad that you're doing much better and you're focusing on you and your child. I agree with the others to stop paying for the electricity bill. I know you understand his mental state, but he's no longer your problem, and he definitely wasn't considerate of you at all. Crazy the coworker he messed up his marriage for doesn't even want him, and now he's got 2 babies he's got to take care of. So let him take care of stuff he needs to take care of. He will continue being enabled by you and won't be able to handle any condition because he doesn't have to. Keep focusing on you and your baby. You're doing great, and I'm happy to hear you're doing better. I know all of you saying this are absolutely right. He will keep taking as long as I let him. I promise I will do it. Maybe this news would be better coming from you in a calm, safe environment, where she can discuss and ask questions, instead of whatever her father's mood might be at the time. You seem to have a handle on things, so good on you. I hope things go well for you both. Yes, most likely it will come to this anyway, as he has been refusing to even talk about the issue so far. I have been instructed to be as neutral/positive as I can in the matter, so that any negative response she might have is not directed towards the new baby. Of course, I hope they might have a sibling relationship in the end, and I have no plans in sabotaging that. The implications about the true reason for the divorce will be something she will put together eventually, when she is mentally mature enough to deal with it. No matter how it plays out, I will be here for her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for breaking off my wedding because of my fiancé's bachelor party? Me and my fiancé have been together for 2 years. It was the eve of our wedding, and I was having my bachelorette party and he was having his bachelor party. So, my bachelorette party was just a little thing with some of my girlfriends and family at my home, with drinks that the family put together for me. On the other hand, my fiancé's bachelor party was at a bar with a huge party, which is perfectly fine with me. But halfway into my party, my friend runs up to me with a video of my fiancé getting a lap dance from one of the girls there. These were Snapchat stories. Then she showed the next video. The video was my fiancé licking a mixed drink off of a girl's front, and another video of him making out with a girl, and then another girl right after her. I was upset and confronted my fiancé about it when he had gotten home the day of our wedding. He got all defensive and said, "It's what guys do on their bachelor party nights. It's the last night we have being single, babe." He was hungover, and I was furious, because I understand, but you don't just go making out with girls and licking drinks off their front. I just decided to try to forget it and go on with the wedding, until he was in the shower and his phone kept going off. We do have a rule where we don't go through each other's phones unless there's a reason, and we have to let the other person know if we are going through them. I wasn't going to touch it, but it kept going off, with people sending him photos on his phone from the night before. So I decided to look at the videos to see if I missed anything. It was photos of my fiancé in bed with 2 girls with no clothes. I turned his phone off, went into the bathroom and told him the wedding is off, and I needed time to process what has happened. He asked why, and I said, "Look at your phone and see." He then changed the whole subject and went insane over the searching phones rule. I told him boyfriends don't bang other girls just because last night he was not husband yet. He cussed me out and then begged for me to keep the wedding on, but I walked out and said no. It's been 2 days now, and his family's upset with me because I called off the wedding too soon and ruined their son's day. But everyone who was at my bachelorette party is on my side, saying it's his fault and he needs to realize he's in the wrong. Should I talk to him about it and reschedule the wedding? I do love him, but I'm not sure if this was a red flag that can lead into the future with him. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. He cheated on you under the excuse that it's just what guys do at their bachelor's party, which is not if they have any respect for you, and is now love-bombing you/gaslighting you into staying. If you marry this man, he will 100% cheat on you again, and again it won't be his fault, but the situation's fault. Like you didn't pay attention to him when he needed it, he had a stressful day at work, he was drunk, etc. He will continue to do this until you eventually leave him or make yourself settle for him. This will not be a happy and healthy relationship for you and will only benefit him in the end. Get out while you can. The whole culture behind this type of bachelor/bachelorette party is honestly kind of toxic. The idea of celebrating your last night single? If marriage is so restricting to you, then why the heck are you getting married? Same here. Last night being single? Last I checked, they weren't single. Lol, should you go through with the wedding? You want to sign up for a lifetime of being disrespected and cheated on? Sure, go ahead with the wedding. A guy who would cheat on you before the wedding isn't going to stop because you have a party. It wasn't his last night to be with someone else. His last night to be with someone else was when he committed to you. The wedding is irrelevant. Yep. 1. He would not have been okay with her doing some rando during her bachelorette. Guaranteed. 2. He would have excuses for everything. You were on your period, had a flu, pregnant, just gave birth, etc. 3. Not all guys do this crap. You have to decide what you are comfortable with. Me? I have 2 major hard limits. No hard drugs, no cheating of any kind. That includes intent, verbal, emotional, online, etc. Whether the intent or motivation is sexual completion or emotional fulfillment from another actual human, it's cheating. No ifs, ands, or buts. Petty little me would have compiled all the pictures and videos into one long video, have your dad walk you down the aisle, then before the minister starts the service, turn around to the congregation and say that you'd like to play a short video from the bachelor party. At the end of the video, after everyone has seen him having his 3-way and his reputation is in tatters, then announce the wedding is off. Then go through with the reception to celebrate having dodged a bullet. Edit/update. I've thought about it and read the comments. I'm going to have a talk with him to move his things out of the house, because I'm the one who bought and pays the bills on it. I don't want him in my life, and the comments made me realize it was a huge mistake to even think of putting the wedding back on. Thank you.